Good morning. Delighted to be joined by Samantha today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
So listen, let me start. Can you just shine a light on your story and how you got to become a broadcaster, an actress, disability rights campaigner, a public speaker? How do we get here?
By saying yes to everything and then figuring out how the heck to do it when you're there. So my background is actually in teaching. I did a degree in French, German, sociology, and European studies. Sounds very, very fancy. But I am a full-time wheelchair user and a proud disabled woman. And just before my final year of university, I had to have major spinal surgery to basically, prolong my life. And it was a little bit out the blue, but it kind of took me back a little. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, you've finished your degree, out into the big bad world. And I seized the day, so to speak. I haven't got that tattooed on my body, not yet anyway. I will do, give me time.
Okay, I'll hold you to it.
Right on my derriere. That's a bit of French for you. And I took the plunge to move to London, and that was mostly because I became a trustee for the Brutta Bone Society, and I absolutely loved, having the trustee's role and being exposed to disability. It's been nearly 10 years, and I really struggle getting employment. Because of the obvious reasons, because of negative attitudes towards disability, and also practical, the inaccessibility and the disabling world that we live in. I was rocking up to a job interview and they were like, oh, sorry, the lift is out. So I really, really struggled, but I continued with my charity work. I volunteered at Action for Children, and I became, a kind of ambassador for the charity Scope. And they gave me, in effect, media training. If they had a new campaign, they'd ring me up and go, Sam, would you like to do Sky News? And I was like, yes. So I did about 3 years of just saying yes to absolutely everything. And with regards to my acting, I've dabbled in that. That came by chance as well. And I won some awards in America. And that's how I became more well-known, and I got a very well-known commercial, and it has very much spiraled from there. But I think my campaigning has taken over. But I also, that teach training that I have has really been quite, invaluable for me as a keynote speaker and as someone who speaks very, very frankly on disability rights. So yeah, I'm in a really good place, and I'm in a very privileged position right now, and I absolutely love what I do. And I think the pandemic has shown that, if anything, those years spent teaching have, really, really helped me, because everything's gone online, everything's gone virtual, and I've engaged with so many new clients that are now understanding that if you don't talk, if you talk about diversity but leave out disability, then you're not actually talking about diversity. So that's a speed. That's like a chapter of a book right there for you.
Kind of my question for you over the last year is, how's the support been for disabled people during the pandemic? What needs to be done kind of in this new virtual world that we're living in, so they kind of to move us forward?
Absolutely. And it's quite funny, because on the first lockdown I was inundated with people kind of approaching me, because you have to understand that 365 days a year can be a lockdown for someone with a disability. I was gifted a £9,000 electric wheelchair. I am a manual wheelchair user predominantly, but a charity donated this chair to me, and I can't actually get to the end of the street without having to go onto the road because there's no sufficient drop curbs. So a lot of disabled people were like, hello, welcome to our little world. And we became experts of the pandemic, which has been really refreshing. And we've also been excluded a lot of the time. You can't be part of our team because if you're going to Zoom or you're going to do Skype, it's not reliable. You need to be a team player, and you need to physically be here to be part of our institution. And it's actually opened up a lot of opportunities for disabled people who need to work remotely, who maybe are on bed rest. A lot of my my writing for the Metro and writing for disability magazines, that came out of me being on bed rest. So it's been quite enlightening. It's been very empowering for disabled people to kind of encourage non-disabled people to not give up, to not lose sight, to not see this time as wasted time, but to get creative, and going forward, I think it's a really vital opportunity not to dismiss everything that we've learned in the pandemic. I think the worry is that, okay, great, we can now have everything virtually, which will allow many more people to be part of work and events, etc. But we don't want to get to a place where we're like, okay, so we're holding this amazing event, but we're not going to meet access needs because that's going to cost money, or we can't be bothered to go and source a building that meets access needs. So you can just watch it online, and that isn't about inclusion. So I think what we need to do moving forward is have this kind of hybrid effect. So, we have things virtually and physically, and we need to think about not excluding disabled people now that we've kind of recognized that we can do things remotely.
In terms of your advocacy, kind of, what is the importance of intersectionality? How have you seen things change, either for the better or worse, over the last year?
Intersectionality is a really interesting concept, and something that I was at a swanky event, and everyone kept saying it, so I had to quickly Wikipedia under the table because I just didn't have a clue what it was. And it occurred to me that actually, yes, I have different identities, but my disability identity is so strong because that's what affects me the most. And I've actually in recent years come to feel proud and love my disability identity, and I want to shout about it and I want to talk about it. But on International Women's Day, that is about women and my female identity and womanhood. But I am on there primarily to share the stories of disability, because unfortunately our voices are often muted, and I don't want to push that to one side. We're not in a place yet where we can say that I can talk about all different all my different life experiences, because we're not there. We're not in the right place with disability yet, I think.
So let me ask you, earlier on you mentioned about kind of society and moving forward, how kind of hybrid has become an opportunity, and we need to make sure that continues rather than regressing back. Have you got a message for the disabled community?
Disabled people shouldn't have to be advocates. Don't feel that you need to educate others. My biggest message is, if you are truly wanting to be an ally and an advocate for disability rights, this is to my non-disabled peers, don't constantly come and knock on our door, go, hello, excuse me, but why, with 100 million questions, because that can be quite intrusive. And it's really important to understand that, yes, there are people like me who are extremely vocal and who love people knocking on my door, that's what I thrive for, but a lot of people don't want to do that. So, I don't think we should be putting the responsibility of the disability community. We are who we are, and we shouldn't have to, explain why we need an accessible bathroom putting in, or why there is a need for more accessible homes, or why you should be hiring a disabled person. Do your own research. But I think for disabled people, social media is an amazing way just to get your voice heard. For me, I am so not a YouTuber or a TikTok kind of girl, but I am on everything else. I repel technology, but I think it's a perfect medium because you can create your own narrative online, and it's free. And if you're in hospital, or if you're on bed rest, or if you're not feeling great, or if your carer hasn't turned up and you aren't getting the support you need, you've got your phone, you've got your Apple Watch, all these kind of amazing tools at your disposal, and all of that can be done in your pajamas. I'm not even wearing any pants at the moment. Like, I'm not gonna tilt it up down because I won't shock you all. But that's the beauty of technology. So definitely don't be scared of technology, and have fun with it and create your own narrative, because the next generation, I'm quite envious of them. I already see them. I'm like, wow, if only I was born 10 years earlier, I'd be a TikTok sensation. But never say never. Never say never.
I look forward to
Yay.
it. So go on, give me something that you've learned meaningful for yourself over the last year.
Oh, my goodness. So I have learned to set boundaries more. I know recently I've just said to you that I spent many, many years saying yes, 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 yes. And that, that the proof is in the pudding. Like that has made me successful, networking, going out, doing this. But I definitely used up a lot of my energy, and that wasn't always positive for me as an individual. It was great for my career, and it was very beneficial in the sense that it's helped me get the opportunities that I have now. But I think also setting boundaries and knowing my worth. So a disabled person on average, and this is research done by the charity Scope on the disability price tag, and it says that on average a disabled person spends £583 extra a month just on being disabled. So that's quite a substantial amount of money. So I think knowing my worth, saying that, okay, I'll do that for you, but you've got to pay me, because if you value me as a campaigner, as an activist, as a broadcaster, as a writer, as a human being, then you're going to pay me for my services. So that's been one. And I mean, we're very, very British in the sense that, oh yeah, of course, I'll do that for free. And then you're like, darn it. And then saying no to things. I think because I have now become more well-known, which is lovely. It gets my message out. It creates more work. It creates more buzz about who I am. But you then have an influx of people wanting things from you. And I think people, when they hear that you are a activist, they think you're on call 24/7, and that isn't great for anyone. I just think that if I am not healthy, if my mental health isn't right, if I'm physically not fit, if I'm not eating properly, if I'm not sleeping properly, I'm not going to be beneficial to anybody. Never mind conquer the world, So I think it sounds a little bit holistic, but I have started doing more meditation. I have started, kind of doing a lot more kind of things for me and choosing projects that I am absolutely passionate about, rather than just, oh my goodness, that's an opportunity. And that goes back to this imposter syndrome. As a disabled person, you think that if you say no to something, you're never going to get another opportunity, because opportunities are few and far between. So it's overcoming that internalized feeling of, oh my goodness, I'm never going to be successful again, and actually go, no, do you know what? You've done 10 years of hard graft. You know your stuff. You know you're good at what you do, and you help other people, and that's enough,
Absolutely. So my last question. Now we've looked back and we looked at the last year. What are you excited for going forward?
So I have got a really big secret project coming up, which is going to take, I don't know whether I can say. I have just finished filming a music video with Boy George as well. So that's in the edit. So do you know what I love? I love the fact that what I do is so spontaneous, and it's, so diverse. And I'm able to show my strength as a disabled woman in so many different mediums, whether that be writing books, or whether that be being on TV, or creating content for Boy George. It's absolutely amazing. I think, there's so many possibilities, and I'm excited. I mean, literally every week is different for me. You can never book a holiday, which is the downside. But I've got a few campaigns that I'm working on, my own personal campaigns about encouraging disabled people to kind of go for their dreams, and looking at the benefit system and the support system, because a lot of what support is out there for disabled people actually penalizes you for being disabled and puts you lower in the poverty bracket, so never having the opportunity to get on the property ladder, etc. So I really want to look at that, because I myself am not a homeowner, but I'm hoping to be so. So a lot of my campaigning comes directly from my lived experience, and I think that's probably why I am successful, because it comes from quite a authentic place. I feel like I'm a bit of a human guinea pig a lot of the time, but that's okay. I don't mind it.
But then you're sharing your stories, which actually means that we're actually having lived experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
Samantha, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
No worries at all. Always a pleasure speaking, and have a lovely rest of the day.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.